Hi everyone, my name is Pamela Nuri, Head of Expedition Operations at Noble Caledonia, and we have with us here today our fleet captain and master of the Caledonian sky, all the way from the Caledonian sky, which is in Southeast Asia at the moment, Captain Hakan Gustafsson. Hello, how are you?
Yeah, I'm fine, very well. And you, all well?
Yes, really good. And how are things over there in Southeast Asia on the Cal sky?
Yeah, it's very good. We have nice weather and so on. It's rainy season now, but we have been very lucky with the weather so far. So yeah, everything running smooth.
Really good to hear. Now, many of our guests will have met you over the years. You've been on the fleet for more than 10 years. In fact, when you were chief officer, I was assistant expedition leader, and then things got a bit more serious, you know, when you became captain and I became expedition leader. It's been really fun working with you over the years. I know a lot of our guests will recognize you, and they'll look forward to checking in with you online. I wanted to ask, first of all, there's a huge tradition with Swedish captains or Scandinavian captains in general. There's quite a lot out there, certainly in our fleet. And for you, it has been a multi-generation thing. I know your grandfather and your father were both captains. Is that a more Swedish connection or a family thing for you? That whole lifeline or lifetime of, you know, captains.
Yeah, it's the island I live. It's a tradition to be a seaman since long time back, and I'm the fifth generation captain in my family. So so they start on that island to do fishing up in Ireland and Iceland for herrings and so on, and then it continued till now. So yeah, it's a great tradition on the island I come from. Yes.
Because I think for many people, being a seafarer, you know, captain or in any other capacity, is quite a strange life. And to balance that home life, most of the captains have families, with your work life. What is the rotation like, and how do you balance it? And I think I'm asking with respect to it having been a family tradition, I'm sure that must be more acceptable or easy to swallow where you come from or in your family.
Yeah, I mean it's not it's not only a job. It's like how do you say? It's a lifestyle more or less. So so of course it's tough to leave your family for 10 weeks off, and I mean we work 10 weeks on and 10 weeks off usually. So of course it's tough to leave the family and so on. But you get used to this, and yeah, I could not think of any other job to do, to be honest. I like this a lot. So. And you will see the world at the same time, and so yeah, I like it a lot. Yes.
A lot of captains will do this for 10 years, and then they might try looking at getting sort of the local ferry or the port operations near where they live and try and settle in more. But I know we've spoken over the years, and you are, you know, very much dedicated to the actual sea life and the lifestyle. So my next question would be, what would make you choose cruise ships versus cargo ships, which are, you know, that cargo complains much less, or fishing, which could be kind of exciting, albeit messy? How would you end up on a cruise ship versus all of the other options?
No, I mean I have done the reverse thing, so to speak, because I start in the cargo ships in paper carriers and ro-ro carriers and bulk carriers and so on. So, and that was in North Sea and so on, and close to Sweden. But then I started with cruising. It was the chief engineer that I worked in the cargo ship. He went to the cruise industry, and then he called me one day and asked me if I wanted to start, and I went over there, and I was hooked right away, and that's the reason I stayed and have since the last 20 years or something like that in the expedition cruising.
And that's actually a good segue, because what about the big ships? You must have lots more staff under you. There must be lots more recreational facilities on board. And you've always been with us and with the small ships. What's your feeling on that comparison? And would you ever go over to the big ships to give that a whirl for a while?
No, I have always been on this small, like 100 passengers cruise ships. So I mean, I think that's the best way to do it. You can get in everywhere where the big ships can't go, and so on. And this expedition, you can do more or less whatever you like. You agree with the expedition leader what to do, and then you do it more or less. You have a you have start point and end point, and in the expedition cruises you can do whatever you like in between, like in Antarctica and so on. So it's not so strict like the regular cruise ships. They doing their ports in the Mediterranean or Caribbean or whatever. So yeah, we are more flexible, I must say. Yes. So that's the reason I like it. It's very different from day to day.
Yeah, you're so right. You get the sense that certainly cargo ships would be this way, where it's almost an autopilot kind of job. You know, the routes are very fixed. You know, the ports are very fixed. The timeline's very fixed, and it's sort of like almost like the cruising. You know, the cruising from A to B happens, you know, along the way, and you're not that involved in actually driving, really navigating, making kind of hard decisions sometimes.
No, I mean, this is very different from cargo ships, so to speak, because as you say, it's like it's driving a bus more or less one port to another back and forth. But I was in the spot market as well, so we was all over with the cargo ships as well. But I mean, this is a more social job, so to speak, because it's many more people on board, of course. When you have passengers, and much more crew on the cargo ship, we can be like 13 persons and so on, and you different watches and so on. So you usually don't see too many people on the cargo ships as you do here. So it's more social life here, and yeah, that's one of the points I stay.
Yeah. So there's this more traditional view of captains being kind of like a master under God, and I know when I first joined, I was quite amazed by this sort of ubiquitous power that, you know, comes from the captain and that they have. And of course it has to be that way because you're ultimately responsible for everyone's lives and safety. So it's very different. I don't think there's any comparison on land in a company environment where you have this single authority who's, you know, so sort of all powerful. But then we're also now talking about 2020. And so this more traditional idea of this master under God, authoritarian, almost a dictator type of captain that you think of from the past, it doesn't really fly in the modern day. And yet you still have to have that ultimate authority. Like I said, nothing like it on a land CEO type of situation. How do you reconcile that huge responsibility, huge power with sort of the modern day where it's like, you know, way more democratic and, you know, way more give and take?
Yeah, I see what you mean, but I mean, nowadays it's more like a teamwork. Everybody works together, and decision you have to make and so on. You do some brainstorming with the chief officer and the second officer and so on. So, and of course, sometimes you have to pull that the authority when you're dealing with people ashore and so on. So, I mean, it's still like that, but I don't really use it that much, to be honest, anymore. That power, because you should solve it in a smooth way as far as possible, I believe. And I mean, we are all different personalities. Some people are still like that, but that's not really my style.
Well, I must say, as you alluded to, it is really important to have that teamwork environment, particularly in expedition cruising. It's often the sense of the expedition leaders or the team, you know, we're a kind of an add-on to what was already a complete team of people running the ship. And then you add on this expedition team that didn't really have a place in the hierarchy. It's not even officially a place in the hierarchy, but very often they know exactly where they want to go, where their plan B is, what they want to do, how fast, how slow. And they have this, you know, sort of whole idea in their head. They know the region. And they know what they need to achieve, and they need to work with you to achieve it. So it is really nice working with you, of course, because it is very much a team environment. But Do you ever have trouble with expedition leaders? I know you do. Being like, you know, can we go closer? Can we go closer? Can we go closer? And of course, you know, it's like, well, we can't go closer, but they need to go closer in order to make the operation happen. And you're like, well, you know.
Yeah. No, I see what you mean, but I mean, usually it's safer to go closer than stay out at sea, because you can get more protection from the sea motion and so on. So it's usually safer to go closer, but of course you cannot go too close either. And yeah, there is a different way to do it, and over the years you learn different way how to do it as safe as possible. And of course sometimes it's not possible at all, and then you have to take the decision to cancel when it's bad weather and so on. So that's the way to do it.
Safer to go closer, a quote from the fleet captain. I'm going to have that one recorded on my phone forevermore.
yeah.
Now, speaking of being fleet captain,
it's all relative,
like,
isn't
this
it?
is the best job ever, I get to boss all the other captains around, or is it like every other situation in life where it actually just is a whole lot more paperwork?
No, I mean, the captain that is in the company, they are very experienced, so they don't really ask for too much advice. Of course they do sometimes, and we come to a solution together. It's not like I'm bossing them around or something like that. Yeah, I think it's a good position, because also you have some advice for the office as well. So if they have any questions how it works on the ship and so on, it's very handy to have that position that can help the office people also, so they know how it works before they take any decisions, and so things should be done correctly, so to speak.
Yeah, so it sounds like paperwork then. I have one last question for you.
No, it's not that bad.
And maybe you can delegate a lot of it, depending if you've got a good chief officers underneath you. I have one last question for you, and that is about your favorite itineraries. I know you've pretty much done, I think, every itinerary that we at Noble Caledonia do. What jumps to mind if I ask you, if you just had to stick in one region for the rest of your life and just do a beat around that region, which one do you think you would choose?
Yeah, I have been to many nice places. Yeah, I think it's French Polynesia. I would say it will be the nicest place. I'm not really a cool water man, so I like French Polynesia. It's very nice. Yes.
South Pacific, yeah. Good choice. And
yeah.
I think that's quite a challenging area, quite a hands-on area. Well, for the captain as well as the expedition team. So I like that. I like that one. Good choice.
Yeah, it's nice.
Well, thank you so much for your time. It's been great catching up and chatting. I'm sure a lot of the guests will be happy to meet you online if they haven't met you on board. Otherwise, we'll see you out there again soon on the Caledonian sky.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you very much. Have a nice time, and I hope to see you soon again. Bye-bye. Take care.